What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video. Told you I'm trying to push out as much content as I can for y'all. I just did the video on why credit matters more than money, so if y'all ain't seen that, go check that out. I'm gonna try to get at least 3 done for y'all today, so by the time this one uploaded, that one will be uploaded as well, so y'all go check both out. This topic is very important though. I'm coming back at y'all with another one. This topic is very, very important, and it could be insensitive to some, so if you see the title and you don't want to watch it, just click off. I don't mean to offend nobody, but it's something that's very, very important, especially in today's society. I feel like it doesn't get talked about as much because it's something that's swept up under the rug, and I feel like a lot of people are so desensitized and so used to coming on social media with their issues and their everyday problems, they don't really get enough. They don't have a lot of people to tell them that may not be the best thing to do all the time. So without further ado, I want to talk about why I personally feel like coming to social media with your problems is the best thing to do. We live in a day and age in today's world where social media is used as like a coping method for a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with wanting somebody to talk to or wanting the audience sometimes to kind of voice your opinion to, but I feel like it's just certain things that should make it to a broad platform or a bigger scale of an audience, especially when people don't even know you. And even the ones that may know you, just certain things that I was especially taught with, it's just certain things people should know. Me, I'm a very private person, so I don't get on in the internet or even in person. I don't let people know everything about me. So a lot of the things that I might come across, a lot of things that y'all might see on my channel and come across is because I want you to know, and I'm telling you most likely from an informative aspect, even if it may be from a personal aspect. So it's not to just tell my business or tell something that's going on with me just because I want views or clicks. You know, like I said, that's what we usually see today's era, and a lot of it is usually lies, and that's something I don't approve of, because me personally, I feel like when people come onto social media with their problems, they really do this. They're lacking something inside of them, which is more self-security. They're lacking the hope. They don't have a voice. They don't really have sufficiency where they don't have boundaries set, where they know what to say and what not to say. And you know, you all heard the saying, it's a time and place for everything. And some people, most likely, they don't know that. So I feel like that's something that needs to be preached upon a lot of people. A lot of y'all really need to understand that no one really cares at the end of the day. Even the ones that might like your post, reshare, laugh, give you a heart, whatever it might be, they really don't. They don't really have the best interest for you, because if they did, they'd probably give you a solution or really be there next to you when you're going through the most. So you know, I see a lot of people coming online, especially TikTok. That's, you know, I think we all can agree that TikTok and probably Facebook, maybe, but those are probably 2 of the main, most dominant social media apps nowadays. But I don't know I'm sure if y'all probably have been seeing just like me, we see a lot of these story times on TikToks, and if you ever notice, it's always when people fall out with their friends, they trying to out ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends. Honestly, and from what I've seen, I you know, men do it as well, but I've seen a lot of women that kind of dominate this aspect of living. You know, like I said, men do it as well, so I ain't gonna just put it all on the ladies and the females. But a lot of women choose to do this for some reason, and it could be more from a sensitive aspect, where women are more feminine and sensitive than some men. So that may be why. I personally don't know, because like I said, I'm more of a personal I'm a personal guy. I'm, you know, more sufficient. I'm more to myself, and you know, convenient with me just being me. I know who I am on and off the camera, so I don't bring my problems to the internet. So you know, there may be a reason why as well. I just don't get certain things, but sometimes you just gotta voice, you know, how I just voice how I feel upon what's going on. It's just certain things I ain't willing to do for likes, clicks, money, whatever it might be. But if y'all pay attention to a lot of these story times, and you know, people telling what's going on or what happened to them or what they're going through, you can, if you really got morals and ethics, and you really got the, you know, discernment, you can kind of tell when somebody, they just lying. You know, you can see it through them. You know, you can kind of, it's one thing to see a person going through it and they coming on social media for help, or they might want advice, or they really just trying to, you know, pour out their problems, which I personally still don't agree with. But you know, you can tell when it's genuine, when it's not. Because if you notice, even people that do a great job in disguising the humor or the lies and the laughter and what the story times or whatever they situation may be, you can tell that they just chasing the clout. They just want the recognition. They want the validation. And I don't agree with that. And to be honest, if you're around somebody like that that's always on social media, I personally think you should trust them. I don't think you should really, want to coincide with that, because that's kind of like a darkness in them. They looking for validation and approval, and that's not the way to go. That's how I look at it. So if you know who you are and you the opposite of that person, unless you share that in common with them, you shouldn't be around them, because light and darkness has no fellowship. So me personally, that's somebody I could never be around. I couldn't have in my circle. Family members, I wouldn't hang around them if they was in my family. Like, I don't see what we would have in common. So that's something that I just don't agree with. Like I said, because of the nature of it's the whole concept of the reality of that. It's like, what do you really, where's your sense of morals at? Where are the principles that lie within you? Do you have any? Or, like I said, does every single thing in your life have to be on social media? Like I said, and then it's look at the personal aspects of what people be talking about. They talk about how they get evicted. They baby's father is going to prison. Some of them, they can't pay for food. They can't pay for, they can't pay for groceries, or they might say something like, they'll lie like they car note ain't getting paid, whatever the situation. It's just always the stupidest, dumbest things, and I be looking at them like, wow, people really just do anything for a little bit of fame. So, you just gotta ask yourself, what are you willing to compromise, and what are you willing to compromise for the amount of fame and money or glorification? Some people don't get paid for none of them, but it's not even about that. Some people are willing to do anything for money and fame. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, some people just want a little bit of, they doing anything for nothing. So I'm just not the type of guy. Like I said, it's nothing to prove by me making this video. Don't get me wrong. I'm just voicing my opinion on why I feel like, I'm, telling y'all, and from my point of view and giving advice, why I don't feel like that's the best idea. And at the same time, I'll be, just looking back on things like, wow, this is crazy how the culture just changing every day. People just doing this over and over. And then it's just so, it's always a negative thing usually. We don't really hear a lot of positivity that's promoted. We don't hear a lot of people that's, getting on social media, promoting positivity. And if they are, we don't see it because it's not pushing the algorithm. It's not an agenda. It's not something that, that's not an agenda that wants, the world, the government, should I say, or whoever is behind these platforms, which is the government. They don't want our children and our nieces or nephews or brothers and sisters or us even us, should I say, they don't want us to see that, because it's enlightenment. It's something that's, it's going to enlighten your brain with the amount of positivity and the light of growth and the knowledge of what they're saying. So that's why we don't see too much of we see more foolishness than relevancy, and something that's going to bring light and justice and freedom and equality, and instead of division, it's going to bring us unity. We don't see that a lot. That's what I don't agree with. So that's why I tend to really, I'm on social media, don't get me wrong, but I'm not, when I'm on it, it's always for a purpose. It's always for a reason. I'm not just scrolling and trying to lurk on pages, and I ain't just posting anything. I'm always looking for knowledge. I'm always trying to find growth. When I'm reposting something, it's what I'm really interested in, and I'm reposting somebody that got a new brand, a business. I'm trying to help somebody grow. I'm reposting what I'm speaking on, the positive acts, things like that. So I ain't really into the negativity. It's just, something that unfortunately we can't 100% avoid unless you're just not on it. But I guess in the ways of the world, in these last days, it's gonna be more darkness than light. But I just encourage everybody to establish a borderline between, reality and, social media, because social media is not reality. And that's something a lot of people don't know, unfortunately. They think that the internet is real life, and it's not. I be telling a lot of people this all the time, but especially like people that I really care about, my cousins and a lot of people, family members and people like that, and people that are affiliates of mine. We all can agree on that. Social media is definitely not reality, but some people, it's like a drug to them. They can get mixed up in it so quickly where it'll be indoctrinated into them, where they won't even understand the difference between real life and what's an app. So they'll get caught up in the validation, the followers, the likes, the views, the subscribers, whatever it might be, the comments, and that's, before you know it, they'll let these pages and the apps define them. And that's why they'll keep coming back, doing a little bit whatever for for the verification. So, you know, I don't encourage that, because for me, that's like, you know, selling out. It's giving yourself to the devil. It's letting him take control of you. And, you know, the more chance you give him to do that, he will do it, and he'll lead you into darkness, you know, for a little bit of nothing. So that's something that you got to make a choice if you want to do that or not. But like I said, yeah, I just wanted to make a quick little video on that. You know, I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. I'm definitely gonna push out more content, man. But yeah, you gotta understand, you know, reality and reality TV is not the same thing. That too as well. That's a big topic. All these baddies and Love Island, whatever y'all watch. I don't watch none of that stuff. You know, all the negativity. You know, sometimes, you know, you just gotta flush that out if you care for a brighter future, for something that's gonna be for a productive life. If you care about, you know, building brands and trying to buy land and stocks and, you know, just trying to get a threshold on reality, because the world falling so fast. You know, you don't want to get caught up in this demonic aspect of what they want us to be, what they want to promote as reality, and throw in our face where we distracted from what's going on in the outside world. You know I won't never get caught up like that. So I'm trying to help my brothers and sisters to follow that same pathway. You don't got to follow me, but make your own pathway, but follow what's righteous, and I lead in righteousness, because that's what I was, you know, for one, delivered that way, and that's what I was taught and brought up on. God placed it on my heart, but I was sent to deliver that same message. So for me to, you know, get on these cameras and get behind the camera and lead y'all to a negative aspect, or for me to portray to be someone I'm not just for a like and subscribe, but that would be less of me. That would be, for me, disrespecting my mom, my dad, my aunts, you know, my uncles, my great grandmothers, everybody that played a big role in me being the young man I am today, and raised me with the likeness and the fellowship and all of the morality and the principles that I stand on as a man. You know, I lead in morality, not money, not fame, not fortune. I don't stand for that. You know, of course, everybody want to make money. I love money. You know, I don't live for money. So, you know, I don't live for fame. You know, I don't need verification or validation. I mean, regardless, behind the camera, off the camera, everybody can tell you that. You know, I don't need nobody to tell nobody nothing, but, you know, I am who I am, and it is what it is. So, like I said, I encourage all y'all to be the same and think the same. But, you know, y'all gonna definitely see more of me. Y'all gonna see my content. Y'all look out for it. Like I said, I just uploaded the video, Why Credit Matters More Than Money. It's definitely a very informative video. Y'all make sure y'all spread that. Just like y'all, I want y'all to give this video a like, thumbs up, give this video a comment. Y'all let me know what y'all think of this topic. I want to see some engagement. So give this video a comment, like, share, subscribe to my channel. You know, I'm definitely posting, man. If I let anybody down, if y'all unsubscribed or y'all ain't been watching me, I apologize. You know, it's definitely because I've been busy, life and kind of throwing things at me, but we all have our own battles and hurdles outside of the world, and, you know, and social media or whatever we do. If you're a content creator, you know exactly what I'm speaking of. We gotta sometimes take a break, fall back, and get a hold of ourselves. But, you know, it ain't gonna stop me from doing what I do. I got multiple things going on outside of this, so, you know, I'm just living life and trying to be the best version of myself, and I encourage y'all to do the same. So just keep the Most High number one. Stay prayed up, stay faithful, be blessed, be safe out here, man, and y'all share this message.